For this tutorial you will need your selected yarn. I'm using Paintbox in Simply Aran, and for this particular yarn it calls for a 5mm crochet hook, so that's what I'm using today. But whatever yarn you use, make sure that you check the yarn label to see which hook it suggests. You will need a pair of scissors and a darning needle to sew in your ends. But before we get started, if you like my tutorials, please make sure that you subscribe to keep up to date with all of my latest videos. But if you are already subscribed, just click that bell button and you'll be notified as soon as my new videos go live. So you want to begin by creating a slip knot, and you can do this in whichever method you prefer. And then we're going to go ahead and create our foundation chain. So for this you want to grab the yarn and pull it through. That's one. Grab the yarn, pull it through. That's two. And then yarn over, pull through. That's three. We're going to be doing a multiple of 6, so if I do 3 more, what that means is that you do a block of 6 until you get to your desired width that you want your project to be. So you want to go ahead and build your foundation chain in multiples of 6, and then meet me back once you're ready. So I've done my 3 sets of 6 for my foundation chain just as a sample for this tutorial. And the pattern calls for multiples of 6 plus 2. So once you've done your 6, you're going to add 2 more, and that completes the foundation chain. Now what we're going to do is create our first treble crochet with actually a chain. So I am actually talking in UK terms, but in the US this is known as double crochet. So this set of chains is going to act as one of those. So you're going to chain 3, and as I say, that is acting as a treble crochet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work into that 4th chain from the hook. So not the one on the hook, 1, 2, 3, and then number 4. And in this chain we're going to do a treble crochet. So treble crochet is yarn over, insert into the chain, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So as I say, that is a treble crochet, double crochet in the US. You're going to chain 2, and you're going to do another treble crochet in that same stitch. So essentially what you have done there is a V-stitch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to skip 2 chains and do our half treble cluster in this 3rd chain along. So to do this, you're going to yarn over and insert the hook and grab the yarn and pull it through. And you're going to do that 4 times. So that's the first time, 2, 3, and 4. So all of those stitches are into the same chain. Going to grab the yarn and pull through all of those stitches on the hook, and then grab the yarn and pull it through, which creates a chain and just secures those stitches. So that is your half treble cluster. We're now going to skip 2 chains and then do the same pattern as we've just done here, so our V-stitch. So it's yarn over into that 3rd chain along, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2, and then do your treble into that very same stitch. So the first row of this stitch is actually the hardest because you're working into the foundation chain, and once you get into the 2nd and 3rd row and so on, it will get much easier. So go ahead and pause the video and repeat the instructions. So next we're going to move on to the half treble cluster. So rewind the instructions if needed. So repeat that all the way to the end, and you will finish on one of the V-stitches, and meet me back once you're ready. So I've just come to the end of my first row, and what I have got is 1 chain remaining, and that's what you should have too. If you haven't, then you might have missed or added an extra stitch somewhere, so go back and check, but you want to make sure that you have this 1 chain remaining, and we're going to do a treble crochet into that chain. Now what we're going to do is move on to our second row. So what you want to do is chain 3, turn the work, and we're going to go ahead and do our cluster into this chain 2 section. So it's yarn over, insert into that chain 2 from the previous row, yarn over, pull through, that's 1, and then do that 4 times, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all of those stitches, and then chain 1 in order to secure. Now we're going to do the V-stitch, and we're going to do it into the top of this half treble cluster from the previous row. So yarn over, insert your hook into the top of that stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2, and then do your treble into that same space. We're going to repeat again by doing our half treble cluster into this next chain 2 space. So it's yarn over, pull through 4 times, yarn over, pull through all loops on the hook, and then chain 1 to secure, and then do your V-stitch into the top of the cluster from the previous row. So treble, chain 2, and treble. Go ahead and work your row until you reach the last V, so you'll do a cluster in this last stitch just here. Pause the video and meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so this is what row 2 is looking like. I have done my half treble cluster into this last V-stitch space, and what I'm going to do now is do a treble into the top of this chain 3 just here. So this is the chain 3 from the previous row. What you want to do is yarn over, insert your hook into the top of there, and it will look like you have 2 loops on the hook. It's important that you get those 2 loops because otherwise it can look a bit unstable on the edges. So grab the yarn, pull it through, pull through 2, and then pull through 2. And then we're going to move on to row 3. So for row 3 we're going to chain 3, and that is classing as a treble, and this time we are going to start off with our V-stitch into the top of the cluster. So go ahead and go straight into that cluster with a treble, a chain 2, and a treble. And then we're going to move over into the V-stitch from the previous row and do a half treble cluster. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all of those loops on the hook and chain 1 to secure. And then I'm sure you've guessed it by now, but we're going to go into that V in the top of that cluster. So treble, chain 2, and treble. So work your way to the end. You will finish with a V-stitch into this cluster, and I shall show you what to do to move on. So I've just finished that row. I've finished with my V-stitch, and I'm going to do a treble crochet into the 3rd chain up from the previous row. So go ahead and do a treble in there, and then what you do from here on out is just repeat row 2 and 3 until you get to your desired size. So I'm going to go ahead and build a few more rows so that you can see what it looks like. So here it is with a few more rows built. I think it gives a really nice, interesting, lacy effect. I've also added a row of double crochet all around the edge just to neaten it up a little bit. And that's what I would do if I was going to add a border to this. And I think a simple border would look beautiful with this. But I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with all of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again next time. Bye!